What up, it's Josh with Team F.T.P. We're doing a deck profile today on one of my favorite decks. It's the Kingsworn build. It's a combination of King of the Skull Servants and Lightsworns. It's a pretty fun Twilight deck, and it's got a crazy beater, so let's go in. So you start out your Lightsworn build, pretty simple. You've got 2 Luminos. Nice that it's up to 3 at this format, but you don't have space in the deck really. It's really your mill engine. You gotta mill as fast as you can in this deck. You've got your Aaron, great solution to all your defense position monsters, a lot of your Maze Stroke, your Zen Mines, a lot of other Xseeds that you see popping out. Lila takes care of backfield spells, traps, MSTs, you know. Gareth, really like pulling off a big play on the Lightsworns for guild and adding it Gareth just because you get a lot of draw power in the end phase. Jane is nice because you get to run over your 19 and 2000 beaters pretty easily and still mill 2. Wolf is just pretty happy, mill it, special it, foolish burial, whatever you need. And then Honest, of course, turns them all into beat sticks that'll get over anybody. And you're running enough Lightsworns that you're definitely going to want to run 2 Judgment Dragons. Sometimes you can bump it up to 3, and I'll tell you why later. You get to the zombies, and the star of this deck is King of the Skull Servants. He's a big beat stick that gains 1000 attack for every Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servant in this deck, and he can actually get up to 8000 attack pretty easily. And what he does is, if you get destroyed by battle at any point in time, he can banish another Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servant from the graveyard to special summon him back, bringing him down 1000 attack, but it makes his rebirthing pretty nuts. Lady in White, nice support card, running at 3, then 2200 defense, 0 attack. While she's on the field, all level 3 and lower zombies, except for herself, are unaffected by spells and traps. Really nice protection if you're going for game with King, just to pop her in defense, and works really well. Also, she has an effect where she's called Skull Servant while in the graveyard, giving him an attack boost, and White Mare finishes it up. White Mare is also considered a Skull Servant while in the graveyard, boosting your King's attack. But when you have any of them removed from play, you can discard a White Mare from your hand to send a White Mare or a Skull Servant to the graveyard and special summon a King or a Lady in White. Pretty much just depends on what you have on the field. If you have a King, go for a Lady, help protect it when you go for game. Have a Lady pop out a King and it's protected when it comes on the field. It's a nice powerhouse just because you can get King of the Skull Servants out a lot and just over and over again. I run the Plague Spreader Zombie just because it's a nice tuner that you can still use once it gets milled. It allows you to go for some good synchros and some bigger plays. Chaos Sorcerer and BLS. It's nice in the Twilight build just because you get to take care of a monster. But on top of that, it works really well with Eclipse Laverne, because you mill Eclipse Laverne a little bit earlier in the game, you get to banish your Judgment Dragon, and that Judgment Dragon gets added to your hand when you banish Eclipse with either of their effects. Actually, anytime it's banished at all, really. And it still gets its effect when it's detached from an Xseed material monster, which is broke. And when it's milled, you also get it, meaning that you can get JD to your hand very quickly, and you can usually play it on the same turn as these boys. Then I run both of these. This is mostly just to get my beaters out of the graveyard. This is to pull BLS and JD out just by discarding a card. It's got a nice 1800 attack, but a crappy defense. It's a light monster, and you can get it back with Beckoning. Use it to recycle your BLS, JDs. Zombie Master is used to recycle your King of the Skull Servants, and makes a really nice play for X-Heating. Now let's go into the extra deck. No, we got spells. We got Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, MST, pretty standard. You got Foolish Burial, makes a great play with Wolf or with Eclipse Laverne. 1 for 1, makes a fantastic play with King of the Skull Servants, just because you get to pull him straight out of your deck while sending one of the things that'll boost his attack to the graveyard. You can usually pull him out pretty quick. Charge of the Light Brigade helps you get out your Luminas, or any Lightsworn really, it'll take care of the problem that's on the field. I run 3 Solar Recharge just because it's really a great card, and you can just hold on to a Lightsworn onto your hand for most of the game just to use it. Allure of Darkness goes very well with all of the Skull Servants, because as soon as they're banished from play, you can then use White Mare's effect and just send more skulls to the graveyard. And Card Destruction, nice to refresh your deck, nice to screw over your opponent, nice to send skulls to the graveyard, nice for Lightsworns in the graveyard. Just works very well with this deck. Solemn, sadly down to 1, but you just gotta run it, it works. Starlight Road, it's a very destructive format. If you're not running Starlight Road, you better have a good reason. I only run 1 Mirror Force just because I don't have a lot of room in this deck, and I like a lot of my cards being sent to the graveyard, so I've got no problem when they're destroying stuff because it just sets up my final plays. Beckoning Light, I do run it too, just because it's too good to get out BLS and JD, and you're really focusing this deck on recycling the crap out of those two. It's also nice to add like a Burial from a different dimension if any of them get banished, but that's usually for sighting, and your sides are all just protecting your graveyard. Extra deck, Leviathan, pretty standard, just a great beat stick you can pull out, get over Stardust or whoever you need to. Leviair's fantastic for pulling out your removed Skull Servants if you'd like to, your removed Lightsworns, pretty much anything else there. Zen Mines makes great play with Lady in White or with Lumina. It's nice to just throw out a defense on the field. Giga Brilliant, your other level 3, just kind of boosts up your attack of your other guys. Acid Golem, fantastic beater while Skill Drain is on the field just because he has no costs. At 3,000, does some pretty hard damage. And Tempo, the other 3, is great for just kind of taking care of your opponent's Xseed monsters while boosting his own attack. Utopia, kind of nice to protect yourself sometimes. Maystroke, it's a nice Book of Moon to throw in your deck just to take care of your opponent. And then I do love running Heretic Sun Overlord just because you can get 2 level 8s on the field pretty easy. But I only pretty much use it when my deck is really low, or I have an easy way to get back a BLS or get back a JD, so I can use his effect, pull him out, special him again. My Synchros, Catastor, nice combo because you're running Plague in the deck. You're also running a lot of level 3s that see some field time, so you just bring out a Plague, go for Catastor. Iron Chain if you have any 4s on the field, or when you've got Plague in your graveyard, Zombie Master in the hand, just help your opponent mill a little more. Black Rose takes care of the field, just pretty much a staple. Scrap Dragon, Stardust, Colossal, it's my level 8s, just kind of nice. I'm kind of switching more to taking him out for more Xseeds, just because, well, it seems to be where it's going. But anything else on the extra deck, you pretty much just want to take care of protecting yourself or protecting your graveyard from getting destroyed, because otherwise it's going to get screwed up by cards like Skill Drain and damn Macrocosmo. But yeah, I'm going to let you go and you get back to your shit.